Hey everyone, welcome to the first show after our break, which you didn't notice at all if you were listening on the feed, so why am I telling you? But if you're going to notice the exciting dynamic, because already the energy here is just palpable, I've been trying hard to contain Dave, and so you just...
He's like a puppy dog. He won't stop yipping.
I know.
Prepare yourself. More energy. It's our first SPP. It's our first live SPP of the new year.
I was enjoying the time off. Sleeping in. I had to wake up early today because I had to go get glasses, and I had to walk to get my glasses. So
Dave decided.
Did you record a walking Dave when you walked to get your glasses?
No, I didn't. Cause I was
How far away is the
grumpy. A decent walk. I don't want to give information which people might use.
Triangulate.
They could triangulate.
Yeah, they're going to find an eyewear store and say, "Well, how far is it from this?" Like,
I don't know what I was thinking. That's
I can see enemy troops with a compass.
You moron!
Drawing a circle. I will say that I was listening to the Walking Dave, and there are two back-to-back Driving Dave episodes, and what's funny
Dave
about
has road rage.
Yeah, what's funny about this is that my wife listens to The Walking Dave now, too.
What?
And she made the same comment without me prompting her. So separately, she's like, I love when Dave is driving because what you don't realize, maybe you realize it, you'll be in the middle of a thoughtful sort of sentence. So I just got back from the clinic. Oh, thank you cunt. Cut me off. So anyway, I was going to the clinic and I discovered, and that happens like 5 times in each episode. It's fantastic.
So this was something your wife was complimenting or annoyed by?
No, she just thinks it's funny.
Oh. Well, that's too bad. So I can't listen to the later episodes with my children, is what you're saying, Johnny.
Can you listen to any episodes?
Yeah, we drove to Houston after the ones I've listened to so far are great. They're or the early ones, and we drove down to Houston to visit Cindy's brother after Christmas, and we listened to The Walking Dave. We listened to like 6 or 7 episodes. And
well, they're the same. I mean, he swears a little in most of them.
No, he does not say cunt in any of the ones we listen to.
I don't think I said it. Well, if I'm driving, I usually do say it.
Yes, you did.
If I'm driving, okay, I usually announce when I'm doing a driving episode, I call it the Driving Dave. So if I'm driving, assume there's going to be at least one C-bomb.
Okay, well, the ones we listened to were thoughtful. You know, you talk about Charlie
He's been
dying.
thoughtful until some asshole cuts him off.
So
and then they're also thoughtful immediately after. It's just a little interruption.
Are these ones marked explicit on the feed?
No.
I think the whole episode. I think the whole series is marked explicit.
I don't know.
Oh, shouldn't be. Most of them are very tame. I don't recall. I mean, seriously, I was in the car with the children, and my ears didn't perk at anything.
If
but
I knew you were
listening,
I'll do different content just for them.
No, I don't want you to. And in fact, we can be. I just wanted them to have a taste. Is all. I wanted them to have a taste of Uncle Dave. That's all.
Taste of Dave. That'd make it good,
the worst ice cream store name ever
of some sort.
But they got that. We're done. We're good.
Doesn't Olive Garden have the taste of Italy? Could be the same basic motif.
A taste of Dave. It's
a tour of Italy. Could you do a tour of Dave?
It's just chicken meatballs and cheese sticks.
That's the entire menu. And Diet Coke.
Today our guest is going to be Tara Jacobsen, and she's going to talk about social media. We've said a few times mainly in print that we're sort of, I don't know how you describe our attitude towards social media, because it's like we're crap at it.
We're the problem here. Yeah, we're the problem, not social media.
Right. It's not that. So, but we do. It does come off like we poo-poo it. You know, in Right Publisher, people are sort of like but that's because podcasting is social media, and
we're doing a lot of social media. We just don't have time to do everything.
Right.
Yeah, we did a great job with our Ask Us Anything last night, I thought.
Yeah, we do podcasts. We do 800 podcasts a week. We do this. I mean, we're more sociable than we should be, really.
So Tara knows a lot about social media, and she helped us with a lot of things that did end up getting aborted in Sterling and Stone early last year. But again, our fault. So Tara's going to be on, and she's a lot of fun. Sean has actually talked to her twice already today. So I'm trying to discover what are the new things going to be that she's.
Well, I told her. I said, during our, because we did an 8 questions, and then we did an iterate and optimize episode for that little short run that's coming up, and I told her, what, there's going to be overlap, so don't feel like you're don't feel bad about repeating yourself, because it's different broadcasts and slightly different audiences, and you just need to answer the questions fully. And I don't care about repeating myself. so we're
so that reminds me, before we get to something cools, is that Iterate and Optimize podcast will be up, quote, soon. I don't know exactly when. I know we've been promising it for like 5 weeks, but it'll be up soon at sterlingandstone.net/FM on our podcast page. But the bigger thing that we want to make sure you know about is the Smarter Artist Summit, which is at smarterartistsummit.com. That's being held in Austin, Texas, March 30th and 31st.
A chance to experience this live energy in person.
Plus a bunch of other people and 7 speakers
there.
in addition to us. And Dave will be there. And lots of other special guests. And there were 150 tickets available originally. Do we know what it's down to as of today, which is January 8th?
I think slightly more than 100.
Okay. So, maybe a third is gone, and then by the time this hits the feed, it'll probably be more than that. So if you haven't gotten ticket yet and want one and you've heard about it
on that. So, they'll go fast once we start sending emails.
So there you go. SmarterArtistSummit.com.
So do you guys have, Dave, do you want to start with something cool?
Yeah, actually I do. I'm reading a book, which is rare, a fiction book anyway. Jason Gurley, The Man Who Ended the World. I'm reading that. Have either of you read that one yet or no?
No.
Oh,
no, I have not read any Jason Gurley.
It's a shorter book, and I wanted something short because I just finished rereading our Available Darkness, because we're working on the 3rd season. I wanted something short before I start something else, and I don't know, something about the premise I really liked, about a guy that basically plans to be the last person on Earth. So I thought it was a guide.
That's a cool premise.
Yeah, and I don't want to give anything away, but there's more to it than that. It's not quite that simple. It is a simple premise, but there's a little bit extra to it. But to give it away would kind of ruin it, I think. But it's really, really awesome, and I'm enjoying it a lot. Really, I'm pleasantly surprised at how good this book is. Not surprised because I know he's a good writer, but I don't know. Just I know a book is good when I'm thinking about it a lot when I'm not reading it. So, and that's what I'm doing.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I will add it to my list. Johnny?
Yeah, I tried to think of what would be one that, because the something cools that a lot of times you guys give are things that people can go out and experience as cool themselves. And I notice a lot of the ones I give are only relevant to me, so I tried to. But
I was on a horse ride yesterday.
Well, no, but this is. It's my most relevant thing, and it's been occupying me through the whole break. We just had 2 weeks off, and I'm officially moving. We put our house on the market yesterday, so that's actually a big deal right now.
Yay! That is a
moving
big
to
deal.
Austin to join the company. So at the end of March, I'll be down there. So there you go.
That is pretty cool. I had a hard time settling on my something cool because it's been a couple of weeks, and I had more time off, so I had more time for cool things. But the something cool I'll do is the Hateful Eight, which I saw, and it's
You're gonna tell the adjunct story.
Yeah, I am. The Hateful Eight, I'm not sure if it's in wide release yet. It might not be. But for the first few weeks that it was out, it was on a little road show because Tarantino shot it in 70 millimeter, and there were only not that many theaters in the country that have these big old 70 millimeter projectors. And so it's only in one theater in Austin. And that it's at the Alamo Drafthouse, and it's like concert tickets. You can go online and buy your ticket, and you actually reserve your exact seat. And so the day that I wanted to go is Wednesday, which is date day. So I went to go, pick it out, and that day was really crowded. There were only 2 seats still available, right there in the front row, and the front row is just it's too close. I didn't want to sit in the front row. And Cindy said, "But it's date day. Just get, it's Alamo. Even the front row is not too bad. Just get it." And I said, "No. We'll wait until Sunday, and we'll be a little further back." So I bought tickets for that Sunday, and it turns out that Wednesday, the exact show that I wanted to go to, Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez showed up to the show, and they stayed afterwards and talked a little bit, about the movie for a few hours, and that would have been really awesome. But yeah, I didn't go to that show, but I did go on Sunday, and it was really cool. And it looks like the guys can't see me, which means no one can, so I can't show you this really cool. It's the special roadshow engagement little color book.
Wow, that's phenomenal.
And it was neat. And
a Quentin Tarantino coloring book? What?
No, it's not a coloring book. It's just like a souvenir book, and it has like lots of shots from the movies and or from the movie. And the movie started out a little bit slow, and it had a big long overture at the beginning and an intermission. So it's a very old school style. I don't know if it's that way in wide release, but in the roadshow there is an overture and there was an intermission. And during the intermission, Cindy says, "So, how do you like it?" And I said, "Oh, well, it's not my favorite Tarantino. It's a little slow, but I'm curious to see how it's going to end." And then the last act just kicks so much ass, and it's just so good. And then I just immediately wanted to see the movie again as soon as it was done, and I've thought about it a lot since, and I love how everything fits together, and it's just kind of it's a master storyteller. So if you like Tarantino, you'll love it.
All right.
If you're on the fence.
If you're on the fence, like Dave is not.
Well, I actually got a text from my mom today, actually, and it says, "Went to see Hateful Eight. Great story and script. I love the humor and intelligence, but really don't like all the gratuitous violence and gore. So, yeah, done with Tarantino. A shame."
Ashamed?
Also, no
Finger
wizard
wagging.
sticks present.
Yeah.
Wait. This is a movie that turns your mom off to his violence?
Yeah, that's
This one?
true. Yeah.
No, it's really violent. It's not comic book violence like Kill Bill. It's really violent, and when it's violent, it's like explosive, and there's it's almost like a stage play. It's very small. It's really, except for the very beginning, it's a single location. It's almost claustrophobic, and when the violence happens, it's really it's really over the top. Yeah, it might be his most violent film.
Does it have like 3D eyeballs spitting out at you?
No, it's not. It's not like that. It's psychologically violent too.
Well, to me that sounds effective. Whatever.
Yeah. No, it's
Tell your mom she's wrong.
I didn't have a problem with it. Well, I would tell her she's wrong, but I'm podcasting right now. I'll tell her.
Call her up on the air right now.
We can do that for worst show ever.
All right.
So Tara has shown up. Welcome to the show, Tara. And
Hello.
I think if you're going to talk about social media, I think the first question on everybody's mind is, Dave, where would I get a good book cover?
I didn't miss it.
Tara, where would you get a good book cover? That's something that's the sort of thing you can crowdsource out there on Pinterest, right?
Well, not only can you get a good book cover, but you can also get your whole social media profiles designed on 99 Design.
I have not heard of this.
They do more than book covers?
No, I have not heard of this.
You can really.
At 99designs.com/SPP, in fact.
They've got like 5 designers, right, Dave?
No, they have 8 zillion designers now. They have more than a population of
Specific
Earth.
number of zillion. It used
They're
to be
actually
zillions.
they're using aliens from other planets. I know this is a little known fact, but they don't want it out there, so don't take this for fact. But I know.
I was wondering about the 99 Designs black helicopters that were going by over my house earlier.
Yes, they're always above you, just watching, because they need great ideas, and they make great book covers because they have great designers just waiting to make the best stuff for you. For, like Tara said, like your social media and pretty much any design thing you need, they're there for you.
Is it safe to say that most of the conspiracies that are covered up in this country have something to do with 99 Designs?
99 Designs is kind of like X-Files. Like, they investigate really the paranormal. They're not part of it really. I don't think, although they could be. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever it is.
You said there were aliens involved.
Well, yeah, but that's like that's the off-site 99 Design people. I'm talking about the Earthbound 99. I don't think the aliens are like actually visiting here for 99 Designs.
You know a lot about this for somebody who isn't.
I can't say anymore. I can't say anymore, really. All you need to know is that if you need great book cover, you need social media designs, you need website work, the designers at 99designs.com on Earth and their alien offspring and stuff out there, they got you covered, and there's absolutely nothing to lose.
Everything.
No, there's nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose.
Absolutely nothing to lose. If you're not happy, you don't continue the contest. You walk away.
Do you have to not be happy with the book cover design or just in general?
Well, I don't think they have. No, not just in general, because then I would never be happy with anything.
Can't cure depression.
Yeah, I've tried. They said, sorry, there's no hope for you, Dave.
All right, so start your custom design today at 99designs.com/SPP. Use the link, get the free Power Pack upgrade valued at $99. And 99designs.com/SPP.
And mention the alien upgrade.
Mention the alien upgrade. They're going to get that
special probe.
And then cancel. Right, ask about the probe upgrade, and we lose our sponsorship. All right, so thanks. Welcome to the show, Tara. That was a perfect introduction.
I am so glad I didn't miss the 99 Designs promo. That's my favorite part.
That was a spontaneous discussion. I don't know what you're talking about.
Sean, maybe you should go off and come back on. It's disconcerting not seeing you.
Well, okay, I can see him in the thumbnail,
I don't know what you're doing
when he actually speaks. So, and let's face it, that's most of the time.
All right, I'll be back, you guys.
All right.
All right. Well, I was going to let Sean lead since Sean has already talked to Tara for 6 hours today. So I won't do that since he's not here. But I don't even know how to begin because we just had a discussion. So I know what to start with. Tara, what do you see as the best? What should authors be doing in social media marketing to actually, do all the stuff that authors need to do? Sell books, further their names, all that stuff.
A better question is, should they be out there saying buy my book over and over on Twitter every 5 minutes?
Yes.
Sure. Because that's working really well. No, I think that honestly that there's a progression, and I have a little cheat sheet that I made up because I'm always prepared like a Girl Scout. So the very first thing that you have to know for your social media is who is reading your books. Okay? You need to know if Dave is writing books that are going to appeal to horror fans, or supernatural, or any of those things, alien invasions, the Z books, things like that. You need to know who your audience is, because if you're selling horror on LinkedIn, there's a very good chance that there's going to be some kind of disconnect there. You're going to be putting in an awful lot of effort on a social media platform where your people aren't. If you're selling, I'm trying to think of a man-related fiction. What's a man-related fiction, guys?
Testicles, a life.
Okay. I wouldn't do that on Pinterest necessarily, since the Pinterest demographic is a little more geared like
carpentry and rivets and monster trucks.
There you go. If you had that one gal that wrote about motocross, you would not want to try to sell your books on Pinterest. So first off, you need to know who's reading your books, and then you need to know the social networks that they're probably going to be on. Twitter is generally, 50-50. Pinterest is way, way on the side of chicks, totally chicks. Instagram is kind of a mix. There's one I'm missing.
LinkedIn. Facebook. You missed it last time.
No. I think I totally missed Facebook.
Nobody's missing.
Yeah, that was on purpose, and you know it.
Yeah, you can find your people on Facebook. You just need to know where they are, and then you need to know how to find them on the network that you choose. So, on Instagram and Twitter, you can look up hashtags. So I found out the hashtag, it's horror fan. So Dave, there's people that are identifying themselves with the hashtag horror fan. You could go stalk them, you could like their stuff, or you could follow their profile, and then maybe they would follow you.
That seems like a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, Dave.
And let's face it, most people are following Dave right now anyway.
Right?
Yeah, usually when I follow people, they get scared and they run away and they change their social profiles and delete everything.
Well, that is not true, because I have seen behind the scenes, and I know that Johnny is generally okay on Twitter and Sean is just a complete train wreck, although his mom is delightful. And Dave does the most social media of all of them.
That is scary. Well, that's because I'm actively not writing, and these guys write a lot, and I'm looking for excuses not to write. So, hey, why don't I be social?
Yeah,
I'm still working.
Distraction thing, you know, it's like there's no way to be truly active and engaged in social media all the time, and checking in on your responses and all of that, and produce a lot of work. Like you are subtracting from your production every time you do it, unless you just check in, which
So thanks for telling me, Tara.
that's always been very difficult for me to find that line.
Well, but if you know, so Sean, we were talking about like your perfect day or how you schedule your time.
It
My
involves
budget-
bubble baths. 9 times out of 10 is perfect.
There you go.
Baths, yes. Bubbles, no.
Well, I get up in the morning and I write. So I write on my blog more than I write books, but I'm writing. And then I have a whole bunch of things in the middle of my day that I have to do. And so I probably have almost every day an hour to an hour and a half before I have to go fetch my kids from the bus stop. And I will tell you that is the perfect time to schedule social media, because I'm not creative anymore. I'm not going to be, much use to anybody. And I might as well go ahead and do that. And this idea that you have to be on call every second of every day for social media is just not right. I'm definitely not on call all the time, and I have huge social media followings, and so you need to make it fit into your schedule rather than doing it the other way. I have one gal who's a night owl. She does her best work at night, and so her very first thing is she goes in and plays around on social media with some kind of result in mind, and that way she gets hers done early.
Well, I think
Yeah,
that's
Sean.
the key takeaway there, is that she gets her results done early. So what are those metrics? What is it that she's hoping to accomplish? Because I think a lot of people, I don't just mean authors, I mean really anybody who's trying to use social media for business, it's something they're not doing with a lot of intention. It's something that they go and, I have to be on social media. So it's like they're punching the clock, but they're not actually making any widgets. So what is it that what are some outcomes that authors can have where they are making sure that they go on? Because I think it's great for bonding, but if you're actually trying to convert and to sell books, that's a much, much more abstract metric, right?
So I was thinking about this in my 15-minute hiatus from Sean, and one of the things that I'm going to do with this podcast is see if I can get the most views ever or views or listens on iTunes for my interview, because this is a really good way for me to reach out to authors. So, and I have books that authors would like, and I have courses that authors would like. And so my goal with socially media promoting this will be to increase my reach to authors. Now, I send them all to my website because I also want them to join my email list. There's no way that I would promote that. Well, I'm going to send them to your podcast, obviously, but there's no way that I would want to promote this kind of thing to Amazon only, to like, I'm going to try to sell this one special book for authors using social media over a long period of time. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you know what you're trying to achieve. You would actually be better, in my mind, if you were going to post one thing on social media every day, instead of sending them to your Amazon author page, send them to your Instagram profile if that's what you like. it's really tracking what you're trying to accomplish with it. Like Johnny is trying to build up his readers, like his connections with the readers, and he talks to them on Twitter. So that's his goal. Do I think that you can post 12 times a day on Twitter and sell books? Probably not.
Right.
So, you said something when we were talking before about authors not selling their books, but kind of selling themselves, and not doing it in an intentional sort of sleazy way, but just allowing people to get to know you. Can you talk a little about that?
Well,
Oh my gosh.
Bonding, like selling yourselves is more bonding, right? It's a nicer word for that.
It is. It's a lot nicer. So I happen to be infatuated with Stephen King. I like everything about Stephen King. I like all the stuff about his books, where
Do you
they're
like his
set.
new cover?
What's that?
Do you like his newest cover?
No, I did not. It is
Okay.
not my favorite.
I'm
You
glad
should have
we're
went to
on the same
99 Designs.
He can't
He
afford
should
good
have.
covers. That's not fair.
Sterling and Stone / 99 Designs. What you want to do, though, is I don't want to see on Stephen King's, Facebook page, hey, I have Bazaar of Broken Dreams or whatever it is. Read my Bazaar of Broken Dreams. Hey, you can get it on Amazon. You can get it on Kobo. You can get it on. I don't want to see that, but I love knowing, like with him, it's so easy because there's so many interconnected pieces with all of his stories. So he could post a whole thing like a contest. Hey, who knows how many times Castle Rock was mentioned in my books? And there are people out there who do know how many times Castle Rock
I
was
would like to
mentioned.
know how many times. I'm suddenly curious.
Right? So how fun would that be? Or how many times were there dogs in my stories?
If
One
you're being
obvious-
Koontz, it's every single book.
Well, he
Dogs?
won't kill the dogs. That's why he's one of my favorites.
Mm.
But those are all things. Dean Koontz is really big into, I believe it's Golden Retriever Rescue.
Mhm.
And so on his page that goes with his books, right, Dave? If you've read any Dean Koontz books, you know that a lot of times there's a dog in them.
Yes.
And one of the things that he's promised his readers is they won't kill the dogs, so I never have to worry. They can kill the kids all they want, but no dead dogs, right? And so that's something that you can show behind the scenes. For the gal that was on that is doing the superhero romance,
Julie Huss.
talking about how she did the research for that, or who the character was based on, or what came to her mind, that the backstory of why she would ever think that would be a great genre is so interesting to readers. And that is so she could be posting all kinds of stuff about how to about superheroes, about romances in superheroes. Who's the cute girl, Johansson, will she ever hook up with the Hulk?
Oh,
Right?
you're talking in the movies, right? Hook up with the Hulk. Dave gets a lot of that, I think. When
Scarlett Johansson played
Yeah.
Black Widow, yeah.
There you go. But all of those things are things that are interesting, that are going to attract the people that are going to like her kind of story.
Julia actually does Facebook stupidly well.
Well, I'm sure she does.
But yeah, for sure. Her people love her. But that's actually the point, is her people love her. I mean, they love her work too, but they specifically love Julie.
But she's put a lot of time into making that happen,
Oh,
right?
sure.
Like that doesn't happen overnight.
Well, we were talking before, so if you're going to pick, the other thing I think you should really look at picking is which network you have the time to do it on, okay? So I do not have a devotion to Facebook or the time to grow a loyal following on Facebook. I do have the time to go in and get all my notifications on Twitter, answer people back, retweet people's stuff. To me, that's very easy to do. Johnny can go in and answer all the people. Dave does well on Facebook because he likes to talk to people, and he likes that communication with other people. I know I'm letting a secret out of the bag, that Dave actually likes people.
Well, it's easier to talk to them online than actually in person, so that's...
Okay. But that's excellent. if you don't like people at all, then start. No, but then start working Pinterest, because Pinterest doesn't really have any interaction whatsoever. You can just make boards that are related to your industry. So if you're going to be doing horror, you could have a whole horror board where you have all your favorite things. I could stalk Stephen King and put every cool article that he's ever, like every cool interview that he's ever done. You don't have to talk to one human being if you're using Pinterest.
Mm-hmm.
I think that when Dave eventually misery board, I think that when Dave eventually moves to Austin, he's gonna only talk to us through social media.
Yeah, I'll still be at home when we do our pod. Like, if you guys get a studio, I'll still be at my house.
I am positive that that's true.
Did you get social media accounts? Make sure that your wife and son, redacted, have social media accounts so that you guys can have long discussions.
Yes, we don't actually meet in person.
You've never met. Tara, what are the biggest mistakes that you see people making when they think that they're doing it right, but you just kind of like, psst, you're doing that wrong. You're really screwing up.
Well, I think that just that incessant picture of their book, link to say, just buy my book. Just today, I was on a really cool Facebook. I know that I just said I don't spend time on Facebook, but I was on this really cool Facebook design thing, and one of the guys threw out, "Hey, how can we use our 5-star reviews and make them really neat graphically?" And so for me, I put like the little 5 stars and then my review, and then, "Hey, thanks to the reviewer," and things like that. People actually do respond to that. I sold something from it because they went, "Oh my gosh, that's called social proof." And so you could be making really neat graphics of it. I saw the romance girls do a decent job of it, because like they'll show not the cheesy, half-naked guy picture, but the one girl had like really cute legs, and then she said, "Do you know the story of?" You want to have so much of it is visual. If you're not using Canva or PicMonkey to make your graphics, if you don't have Photoshop, both of those are free, then you're really missing out, because you need to be using as many visuals as you can in your posts. So that's another thing that I think that they miss out on. I also think that they're just, even for the self-publishing people that aren't publishing once a year, they're publishing, maybe 3 books a year, something like that. What they're doing is they're going underground for 3 months and they're writing their book, and then they're sticking their head up and they're saying,
and they're coming out on a spam alert, right?
Exactly. I'm going to just spam you for the next month, and then they go back underground for the next period of time. And I think
Who
that
actually thinks that works?
They do, though. But and there's a lot of teaching saying that you can do that.
I don't know what to say to that because you clearly have the right idea, but that doesn't work, because people like to buy, they don't want to be sold to. And if a purchase decision coming out of a natural relationship, oh, I like that person, and I happen to understand that this person has a new book out, that's not the same as, it's permission marketing, right? It's just the difference. Like you have a relationship with someone and you're going to be very open to their messaging, but a broadcast over and over, it's like a hammer hitting your thumb.
Well, it's beyond even that, you guys. I helped your Kickstarter for fiction. I don't write fiction. So that is really a big deal, that I'm willing to put money into something that is not going to help me in any way, shape, or form. And I do it just because I feel so grateful that you have this amazing podcast and that we have that relationship built up. I mean, I think that's huge.
Yeah, there was an author, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago, that had followed me on Twitter. It's a relatively big author, and they had a lot of followers. So I they interacted with me, so I followed them back, and that's usually, when people follow me, I tend to follow them, but I miss a lot of people unless they actually speak to me because I'm not looking at everybody that follows me. So this person I somehow caught though, and I followed him back, and I swear it was like every 15 minutes an auto post he was selling his book. Every 15 minutes, I've never seen anything like that before. It was just I can't imagine how anybody followed him and kept him, and he had a lot of followers. It just baffled me.
That's shocking.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure before
but it happens constantly, and
I know.
And it makes it's one of those things. It's like when a lot of indie authors, if there's a lot of really terrible covers and a lot of typos, then it kind of gives everybody a bad name. It just makes indie publishing look bad and amateurish. And it's the same thing when you just see a bunch of authors, and that's the kind of broadcast that they make. It just makes the community look cheesy.
It really does. So I want to talk about the hairy monkey in the room that we haven't talked about yet, about writing in genres.
Okay.
Because that was a big thing for us. I know that when I was helping do your social media, one of the things that you guys especially, that I loved about Dave and Sean is they were sort of genre related, and you and Johnny Sean and Johnny are way more all over the board. But I do think that if you have the majority, do you feel like the majority of your people are writing in one or two genres?
I'd say the majority, yeah.
I think so too.
Smartly so.
Yeah, and I think that that's a really something that they're not taking advantage of, that knowing that there are horror accounts on Twitter where you could just go and look at their followers and follow their followers. Because those people have already raised their hand and self-selected themselves and said, I love, what is the one, I'm trying to think. You had an 8 questions with him, Dave, the gentleman that writes horror books.
Oh, that guy.
Jay Thorne? Jay Thorne? I don't remember.
Jay Thorne. That's who it is. So if somebody is following Jay Thorne, there's a really good chance, if you're a horror writer and your feed looks really good and you have all kinds of interesting information about murder and about, old-time horror stories and horror movies and The Walking Dead and all that stuff, there's a really good chance if you follow that person, they will follow you back, especially if you make a comment on one of their posts. So we were talking a little bit about how to grow big networks. You can't grow big networks by just sitting around. You do have to go out and try to get some, you have to proactively go try to find some people, but they're really easy to find. On Facebook, you can go into that top search bar and say people who like sites like Stephen King, or people who like Stephen King and Dean Koontz, or people who like Jay Thorne, Stephen King, and Dean Koontz. And it'll give you a whole list of people that just like those people.
Now, as far as Facebook is concerned, and like I was just thinking more about the guy that was just posting over and over on Twitter, and I think part of that was because people generally aren't on Twitter all day, I don't think, so he's probably trying to make sure he gets his maximum exposure. And on Facebook, it's difficult to get exposure if people aren't reading all your posts because Facebook will hide them. So what sorts of things do you tell people regarding both Twitter and Facebook, how to get a little more visibility or make sure that people are seeing it without just spamming over and over?
Okay, so 2 different ways. On Twitter, you need to know your hashtags. So there's a really cool website called #Hashtagify.me, hashtagify.me.
Okay.
And what that will do is you can put in horror, and it will tell you all of the different hashtags that match that. So if you are writing in the mystery genre, there's an I'm going to massacre this, AMSG, ASMG, I think that's it, American Society Mystery Guild, that is a hashtag for that. You may not understand that, but the people who are on Twitter and active users of Twitter understand to look for hashtags over there. Okay? So that is very easy. That also works on Instagram. Hashtags.
Okay.
On Facebook, to try to get additional views, it's called ranking. Anyways, if you have one post that ranks really high, they're going to give you credit on your other ones. And then if you have one that ranks really high, they give you credit. So if you're stuck at the bottom and you're getting no views, you're going to have to work your little way out of the stuck on the bottom. Mm-hmm. But once you get yourself so that people are looking at things, you can do that very easily. If you're stuck at the bottom, what I suggest you do is find something really good and viral, okay? So if, oh my gosh, the one writer that lied about being, about all his Amazon views. So if you find a really salacious story that matches, so that would be good for me. Mm-hmm. That would be a really salacious story that people might be interested in reading about. What you would do is you would post that. You may even pay a couple of bucks to promote it. And then what you would do is you would post right after that something really good. And then maybe share it with all your friends or share it on your profile. But you have to work to get yourself out of that little rut that you get into on Facebook.
All right. Where's the 80-20 line here, Tara? Because I'm thinking about the big initiative that we did at the beginning of 2015 that we were going to get onto social media, and I remember Sean did I think it was the earlier version of the Authorpreneur's Almanac where he laid out our social media plans, and I'm sure you remember, Tara, affectionately, the way that I just was like, no, I don't want to do this. It's way too much, and how are you possibly going to sustain this? So where do you decide what is sort of a sensible social media plan and what is ridiculous and time wasting?
Okay,
and how do you manage?
I think first on your 80-20, you need to pick whichever one you actually like to do. So if you stuck little bamboo skews under my fingers, it would be the same as if you said to me, I have to do Facebook for an hour every day. It's not my favorite, so I don't want to do it. So even if everybody...
So wait, just really, Facebook for an hour a day is the equivalent of bamboo under your nails?
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
That's rough.
I know.
I hear they're using Facebook in terrorist camps now when they're interrogating people.
Right? Making them look at political ads. So that would not be the one for me. Now, if you said, oh, you have to go on Pinterest for an hour a day and I got to look at all kinds of stuff, I would be totally fine with that, so I like it. So number one, figure out which one you like the most. Dave, what do you like the most?
Pain, suffering.
I'm torn between Twitter and Facebook. I like them at different times depending on my mood.
Okay. So, but that eliminates Instagram, Pinterest, and LinkedIn for Dave.
Yeah, I hate LinkedIn. Let me just go on record saying that. I don't see the value there. It's a data mining company, and all they do is email me over and over telling me somebody else wants me to join, and I just keep saying, fuck you back to them.
To be fair, have you ever actually used LinkedIn?
No, I'm sure it's good for somebody.
But it's terrible.
I hate it.
LinkedIn doesn't work for a fiction author. LinkedIn works if you
I hear it's great for professionals.
Yeah, if you're a professional.
Yeah, I'm unprofessional.
Right. If you know, or for authors, nonfiction authors, who that's totally different. If you just wrote a book about real estate, like LinkedIn's a great place to be.
No, that's totally true. So if you're looking to increase your author platform as far as getting speaking events, getting possibly podcast interviews, getting maybe a true publisher, because the establishment is on LinkedIn. So that's definitely one way that you can go. So Dave, I would say that we have it down to Facebook and Twitter.
Yes.
That's enough. If the gentleman said that you could only have one, I would guess that you would go with Facebook. So,
probably, yeah.
So I would double down on that.
Yeah. Okay. All right, bye everyone on Twitter. I'm out.
No, but I think it's whatever you're best at. It's ridiculous to try to do, and we talked about this a little bit, to try to do blab. So all of a sudden I keep hearing about this blab thing, which is like a video sharing platform that's tied to social media, or Periscope that's tied to Twitter. okay? So if you just hear, hey, you should do Periscope, and you don't have a plan for either growing your audience or selling your books using that, then don't do it. There's no 80-20 there.
So what went wrong basically with was it the overly ambitious plan that Sean gets very excited?
He's like a golden retriever in a Dean Koontz book.
Right, exactly. So
we will kill Sean.
Pick me, I know what went wrong.
What went wrong?
So what have we been talking about? The way that social media works is you get access to people that you wouldn't normally have access on, right? So behind the scenes stories, extra videos, how you do your plot, how you do everything like that. And I think Sean is very right in that you do that on your podcasts. So it's very hard for you to say, oh, I'll make... Sean had said that he would do 100 little tiny videos that we could have promoted.
Right, but those same videos, because I actually did, I took the time to write all those prompts out. Those same videos are now what make up the Smarter Artist podcast.
Right? And
they're
so
just not videos, but they're
pivoted.
Yeah, it's the same time spend. Like I came up with all the prompts, and these would be great for videos, one-off, 5 to 7 minute videos, and then and I think this is a really good point here because Tara's biggest advice to us after that whole, initiative that we did in the first half of last year, because when we made our goals for 2015, get better at social media was on that list, and so we used Tara's help and she got us going, and the biggest takeaway we were left with was do what you love. Don't do anything that you're not totally thrilled to do. If you wouldn't do it for free and just because, don't do it anyway. And so for us, this is just for us. There are a lot of people like Julie, Facebook totally works. There are people, Twitter totally works. But for us, podcasting works. That's what makes sense. We love doing it. We would do the SPP, like we started the SPP with no goal other than talking to us, the three of us, and so that came from a place of love. And so the podcast, that makes sense. It's a way for us to take our social media energy and do that. Making those 5 to 7 minute videos for YouTube doesn't make as much sense because that's not as native to us, but getting on and the podcast, that really works. So I think that Dave said it perfectly. We pivoted. We took, okay, here's all the stuff we learned about the social media, and now we're going to do it in our way, in a way that works for us. So that Get Better at Social Media initiative that we started 2015 with became Let's Launch a Sterling and Stone podcast network.
I don't think she finished saying where we went wrong, though.
So a couple of things here, you guys. So number one, because you share so much on your podcasts and on your things, if you were to share those things on social media, people would like you. So you're already producing the content. The thing that's missing is you're not actually sharing it anywhere, right? So
yes. We are sharing it on YouTube and on iTunes. I mean, if that counts.
No,
well, YouTube,
that's not sociable.
Well, I feel like YouTube counts a little bit, but I feel like YouTube counts a little bit for social, but the fact that you are such huge content creators and then not sharing that content is
we're shy. That's what it is.
Well,
rough.
The problem that I had with it is I don't want to do any of it. Like if somebody can just share what we already produced, I'm down.
Like Edgar?
But I don't want it.
Like
Maybe
Edgar. So what the gentlemen are talking about is Meet Edgar. There's a fancy buffer or a fancy Hootsuite that you can just put your library into. They call it a library, and put all your crap into it, and then it shoots it out to social media over and over and over again over time. And you can schedule it and break it up so it doesn't look funny, Dave. And that's a really good way to do it, but you still have to load it. The other half of it, Johnny, is not necessarily for you guys because you just functionally can't do it, but I think that the other authors listening need to figure out what they like to do, not just on a social media platform, but in real life. So I have a girlfriend who literally ran 7 marathons in 7 days. And
What?
yeah, 7 in 7 days. And she likes taking little videos of herself when she's sitting in the ice bath, and she likes talking about it. She did a 16,000-yard swim, and she likes writing down, like, she did the kicky things and then she did the swimmy things. So for her, that's really good. And she has built up a huge, I don't think that's the real name of it, that she's built up a huge following of people that are insane athletes that really like this, and also a bunch of girls who have some eating problems, and that's another genre, another genre that she's in. So it could be that you really like to make videos. It could be that you really like to make, like, Walking Dave could be a video, and you could share that to, okay, I know, but in theory, it could be a video you could share to Facebook. It could be I love making pictures, so I really like making beautiful things. So I'll make quotes with pictures that have, like, just inspirational quotes, and I'll make those. It could be that you just like quotes, like you collect motivational quotes, and you're just posting those. You may love finding cute pictures of beagles. That may be your thing. It may not exactly match your industry or your genre or your books, but if that's what you can do, then do that.
So how do we bridge because there's a chasm here between do what you like to do, which for us is the podcasting. This is the stuff that Sean was talking about, with the loading shit up on social media to share it, which I hate the idea of. Like, I can be active on Twitter replying to people, but the idea of sharing any, like, I don't want to do that. Like, fuck that. So how do we bridge because we're creating a ton of content, and I want nothing to do with anything where we're trying to share it, like us actually doing it.
If only we had someone who could do that for us.
So I think that that's a you problem and a me problem. Like, we're stupid content creators, right? Like, if I do 3 blog posts a week for 52 weeks, how many is that? 150?
156.
6, yes.
Okay, so that's 150. If that's all I was doing was just that, that's a ton more than normal human beings create, right? And you guys produce 10 times that much because you're doing all these books and these podcasts and things like that. So let's talk about 2 things. Your problem is you have a lake full of content that's overwhelming. If you started today and every time you publish something, you just put it up that day, which is what I do, I post it to Facebook, Twitter, Google+, because Google+ is still amazing for SEO, you guys. It is not a social network, but if you want to get Google links, it's awesome for Google+. LinkedIn and something else, Pinterest. And then I put it in my Meet Edgar. So if you start today, you can start getting your stuff in there, and that's for everybody. Whether you're putting it into your buffer or whether you're putting it into a spreadsheet, I just use Excel, that you know what all your posts are. So if you're using Buffer and you just want to try to, like, click, click, click and put them in, for normal people that have, 5 books, 3 books, maybe
Are you
a
saying
blog.
we're not normal?
What's that?
Nothing.
She's
you're
saying
not normal?
stop creating and just start sharing everything.
Right. I'm still wondering how we get from you need to do this to I hate that. Like, can somebody else do it? Can somebody else take this stuff
magically for this thing?
Well, yeah, I think you
right,
could get
because I'm still I don't want to do it. Like,
well,
right?
I think that an admin can handle the Get Edgar thing. I think it's more of a maintenance thing. I think there's gonna be a transition or a startup to anything that you do. But if you are starting to get your stuff into Get Edgar, I think that an admin could then, it's exactly like the way we do podcasts, and Maya takes care of it. Audra takes care of it. Like, they're between the two of them, everything gets done and where it's supposed to go. And I think just adding another step, okay, well now that content also gets posted to Get Edgar. And we were talking about this with Tara, before the podcast, and it is something that I think makes sense. I think it is something we should do, but I think our goal right now is getting the website in shape, because I think
and I think that it's Meet Edgar. Poor little Edgar's like, not Get Edgar. It's Meet Edgar. I think that anything that you have a system for. So I think all authors should have, when you publish a book, you're going to put it on your website, you're going to put it on Amazon, you're going to put it in the Meet Edgar, you're going to put it on Facebook, you're going to put it on Twitter, you're going to make 5 pins for Pinterest. You're going to have a system where you have assets ready to go to be able to share. Now, I don't think you should have one book cover to share on social media. I think when you're doing that marketing plan to launch your book, you should go to Fiverr. I mean, it's cheap. Go to 99 Designs and see if they can make you a whole bunch of different graphics, and then you have a bunch of assets to share.
I'm totally down with this if we replace you do this with someone else does that.
Well, that's
like
for us. I mean, this isn't
right,
like
but that's my point. Is this outsourceable? That's my question. Like,
yes.
Or does it have to be me being social? Because to me, that's artificially being social. That's not the part of it I enjoy. So is it the sort of thing?
Well, but Johnny, I think that So your question is very much to you guys, but I think what you just said is very universal to a lot of people. A lot of authors are introverts. I mean, they didn't pick to go into television. They picked to go and sit in a room for 8 hours a day to...
Amen.
Right? To sit behind a screen. And that whole getting social thing is very intimidating, right? Is very much so, how do I have to get social? Does this mean I have to like shit? Does this mean I have to post stuff? Yes. You have to post your stuff. That's a thing. You can use a tool like Buffer to schedule it ahead, or Hootsuite. Meet Edgar. I think it's $50 a month for the cheapest version. And if you're any kind of author that hates everything that Johnny does, hates the same things, then get it, because you only put it in once and it goes forever. I think that it's really intimidating to think that you have to do all this stuff, and you don't. You can do whatever level you want to do it on. You're just, Johnny, you just have too much stuff that's in a backlog.
Yeah, I think we're in a situation where we're always working, whether it be on our writing or our podcast or the other stuff we're doing. So yeah, we don't do all the steps for everything else. We don't do all the steps for book promotion or tweeting or social media, any of that. We really fall down on that part, and that's something we need to get right with.
Yeah, and it's a new year. It's a new chance to. But that is true. We spent time producing and then iterating and optimizing, and now it's time to. We should be better about sharing and broadcasting. Absolutely.
But I think that for your listeners, especially, this kind of goes back to you go underground for 3 months and then you pop your head up. If you're writing a book and spending a week promoting it, and then sad because you don't have book sales, you're doing it wrong. Like, you don't have to have anymore a multi-million-dollar marketing plan. You can have a marketing plan like I make all those worksheets, you can have a marketing plan on a piece of paper that says, post this in 1 week, post this in 2 weeks, post this in 3 weeks, and you could be promoting your book for the next 6 months. Yeah. And keep getting sales from that same book. Yes, you should be write, publish, repeat. But if you're never promoting what you've already done, then you're missing an opportunity.
All right. So where can marketingartfully.com is where people can find you and find out more about what you.
Oh, I made you a page.
Oh, okay. What is the page?
marketingartfully.com/SPP.
Okay.
I have a lot of the resources that I knew that
You're very good at sharing.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah. Well, but it has the link to Meet Edgar. It has the link to Buffer. It has some blog posts that I've written that really go with what we've been talking about. There's a link to Sean's avatar post that's really good about trying to find out who your readers are. And then I do have a course, and I'm giving you guys like $10 off of it, that is about building your author platform on social media, and it's really good.
So marketingartfully.com/SPP for all of that. And then I'll just remind you about our thing, which is smarterartistsummit.com if you want to join us in Austin March 30th and 31st. And just know that those tickets are they're limited and they're going. So that's that. So thank you very much for joining us, Tara, and everybody else. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Tara.
Thank you.